spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And today we're here to read you folks some homegrown horrors. So Adam, why don't you tell us what those are?
Homegrown horrors are the stories that you wonderful viewers and listeners send to us, and they can be something that's supernatural, paranormal, sometimes true crime, sometimes extraterrestrial, and sometimes just coincidental, where you thought one of those things was happening, and it turns out it wasn't happening at all. You were just scared, and it winds up being hilarious. We absolutely love getting any and all of those. Robin, if folks had an email like that to send, where could they send it?
So you can send it to our email, storytime@scariest.com, or go to our website, scariest.com, and go to the Contact Us page. There's like a form on there, and you just fill that out. It sends it to us that way. But we also have a whole bunch of different social media. So, I mean, not a whole bunch of different ones, but we have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And you feel free to message us on there.
Indeed. So we hope to hear from you. Seriously, though, send us your story. All those folks are out there. They're like, oh, man, I've been meaning to send the story for a long time. Just send it. Just bite the bullet, type it up, send it our way. We appreciate every single one we get. And every time someone says, like, I've been listening to you for so long and I've never sent my story, I'm like, do you hate us? Like, what's that about? Do you hate listen to us? Because I just don't understand it. So yeah, if you have a story, we would love to hear from you. That said, we're going to be reading 4 stories tonight, and I believe Robin's going to go first, and then I'm going to go, and then stuff, and then Robin's going to go again, and then I'm going to go again, and then it's going to be over. Cool, yeah, so that's how we're going to do it. So I'll let you take it away. Go for it.
So this first email subject is, wow, I have no clue what to subject this. And I just thought that was so funny. Because a lot of the time we don't read subjects, but I just thought that one was hilarious.
I will say, you kind of nailed it. That's a really good subject.
Yeah.
So.
All right, it begins. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's Kate again. I thought since last time I wrote in, it was crazy emotional and sort of sad, that I'd write again with some happy things. Sweet.
We're always up for happy things. I feel like a lot of times we get scary things, which is what we're set up for, and then we get sad things, and then every now and then we get happy things. So I could go for one of those right now.
Yeah. So I've still been seeing my cat Cleo sometimes, but now instead of feeling scared or worried that I'm going crazy, seeing her really cheers me up. I've noticed I see her usually when I isolate myself from everyone else or get really sad, so I think you guys were right. I thought I'd add that I got a kitten a couple of months ago, and she reminds me of Cleo quite a bit. Both her and my dog both really help me with not getting depressed from everything that's going on. I think pets are really important to have, and I really couldn't imagine not having ours because it would be so quiet and so boring. And even this morning when I was so tired and I was taking my online classes and just sitting there and doing homework, and I was just kind of stressed out. Our corgi came in here, and she's just the cutest little companion, and I can't imagine not having one, you know?
Yeah, and like our smoke alarm, for whatever reason, decided to like chirp a little bit this morning, and our corgi is absolutely terrified of it. So after Robin went to work, the corgi was just like attached to me all day, and she'll do that every now and then, but it's just so cute. And then our Shiba Inu is so adorable, and we'll walk up to you and just like put her paw on you and like bat at you. It's basically her asking for pets by petting you. And I don't know, it's just like animals love you unconditionally, and they don't have to, they just do, and it makes you feel really good. It's definitely an upper, so.
In other happy news, I saw online that you guys had a shirt that had the Loch Ness Monster on it, and I thought it was perfect for my mom because she loves the Loch Ness Monster, and so I got one for her. What's funny
This is so funny.
So what's funny is we're recording this on Thursday. Today's Thursday? Okay, so we're recording this on Thursday. We'd usually do live streams on Tuesday, but our upload speed for our internet has been absolute trash, and our internet provider has no idea what's wrong with it, and so we can't stream anything. So on Tuesday when we began, the two of us were wearing that Loch Ness.
I had the black
Yeah.
Loch Ness Monster shirt, and Robin had the white one, and it's like
We did not plan on it.
It's like, oh no, we match, and it's so funny that this was the first email we would have read had the stream worked.
I just thought that is crazy. What are the odds? All right, so the email continues. I gave it to her today, her birthday, and she absolutely loved it. I really like it too. It's so cute. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. She just had a reconstruction surgery a couple days ago, and the shirt really cheered her up. That is so awesome. So glad she liked it. I didn't want to write about any other stories because I decided this email's only lighthearted stuff, but I did want to talk about one thing a little controversial. So when I was little, my mom said I watched Zaboomafoo. I honestly thought it was one of the crazy things my brother and I had made up from when we were little.
I don't think this is controversial. Everyone has hallucinations and makes stuff up when they're kids.
Stupid. We had crazy imaginations and were really close, so we made up all sorts of wild stuff. So when I came to my mom and asked her about it, she said it was a real show and we both loved it. She said of all the shows we watched when we were little, it was my dad's favorite because he used to turn down the volume on nature shows and dub/make up what the animals were saying to make my brother and I laugh. So obviously watching Zaboomafoo talk made my brother and I laugh so hard every time. Thank you guys so much for being such sweet, wonderful, and funny people. Watching your podcast is my favorite thing to do when I clean the house and make dinner for my family every day. Thanks for reading and keep on creeping on. Oh, and happy probably late Halloween. It's only 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
You were right around there.
It's funny because my sister and I used to watch the Zaboomafoo so much, and she and I know the song like by heart, and we love the Crap Brothers. They have this new show that they do. Well, it's not new now, but they do like the Wild Kratts, which is a different show. And they have like live shows, and they came into town once for a live show, and I really wanted to go, but I was like, I'll be that creepy old person with all these little kids.
That's funny because that's what I was at Toy Story 3, but I walked in and I was like, most of these people are the creepy old people because this is our movie, damn it.
But I really, really enjoyed Zaboomafoo as a kid. It was really good. PBS had a lot of good shows.
I just want to say two things on this. And the first is like, let me go out of character, so to speak, for just a sec. I understand that Zaboomafoo is a real show. I just never was exposed to it when I was younger. It was something that just completely missed me.
Well, you are older than me.
And me and my friends talked about this on Sunday. In fact, there's always something that you just like completely miss as a human being and you don't know how. Like me and another one of my friends had never heard of The Lord of the Rings until the movies came out. And
what?
We talked about the fact that we were so weird because of that. And we mentioned like and I said like the other thing I've never heard of is Zaboomafoo. And I was so relieved because all my friends that I went to school with, like since second grade, were like, what the fuck is Zaboomafoo?
It's a different
I was like,
age.
Thank you God that I'm not that crazy.
You're much older than me. Okay, maybe not much older than me.
3.5 years older than you,
but
dog.
that's the difference of you being in high school and me still being in middle school or elementary school.
No. Okay, that's creepy when you say it that
because
way.
I could be
it's 9th grade to 5th grade. It's not
that's elementary school.
Yeah, I get that, but you're saying it like you were 2 and I was 18.
No. So it's a difference of, elementary school kids are still watching, Sesame Street, all that stuff, kids shows. And you're in high school, so you're already like, I'm over that shit.
In fairness, I was never watching kid shows when I was younger.
Oh my gosh,
I used to watch like ridiculously rated R movies.
Okay,
because my parents are like, you're going to watch good movies because we're not watching garbage.
I watched a lot of kids shows. Like I watched Rugrats, all that Nickelodeon stuff.
There was a time where I wanted to watch like Rugrats and then all the Batman cartoons and
that's
like Spider-Man
and
X-Men. Yes, it totally is.
Really?
It's like 3 p.m. Fox. You get home from school, you turn it on. It's like the animated series. It's 100% kids show.
For me,
shit.
3 p.m. Fox was Pokemon. No, Digimon.
That wasn't out when I was a kid. Like by the time that stuff came out, I was definitely like a junior in high school.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, the second thing I wanted to say is like, obviously we have running jokes on the show and me denying Zaboomafoo is one of the longest running jokes we have. But hearing this email, I want to make sure everyone understands I am never trying to insult your childhood or the treasured memories you have from it. I'm just merely pointing out the fact that when Robin and her sister like just started singing in perfect unison this theme song to a TV show I'd never heard of, it sounded like they were doing some sort of like ridiculous chant, and I was like, witches, burn them.
It's like did you ever watch Blue's Clues?
I did. I watched Blue's Clues a little bit in the background because I had like younger people like I would hang out with in my family. It was never something I turned on purpose. It was like, oh, Blue's Clues is on. There must be a kid around here who's watching
I used to watch Blue's Clues too, and they have all these songs in it. Like when the mail comes, there's a song for when the mail comes, and it's just there's so many. And when he finds a clue, there's a song for when he So it's stuff like that my sister and I we sing all these stupid little theme songs.
And I'm just like, what the hell are you guys singing?
All right. Or like the SpongeBob songs.
But then when I make a reference to any of the first like 12 seasons of Simpsons, they both look at me blankly and I'm like, you're broken humans.
Yeah, we didn't grow up on Simpsons.
Simpsons was like the shit.
Our best friends growing up loved the Simpsons.
So
we played like Simpsons Monopoly and stuff like that. It was, they love The Simpsons.
What's the name of the lady with the tall blue hair?
Marge.
Okay, if you got that wrong, I was literally about to cancel the show.
Okay, anyway, we need to continue with this email because I feel like that was like...
I thought that was it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like,
cool.
They said bye, I'm pretty sure, so.
Thank you so much, Kate, for that email.
Sorry we couldn't read it live, we apologize. She was in the chat when we were reading it too, and she was so excited to see it. And then it's like, oh, and now it's the slideshow of a show, and now we're disconnected 7 times in a row. Tuesday was bad. Today was bad. They had the technician come out, and he was just like, oh, I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm like, look at these numbers, and tell me you don't see anything wrong. He's like, oh, we're gonna have to get a supervisor out here. He can't get here till Monday. I was like, I know this isn't his fault, but I want to stab him to death right now. I was so fucking angry. But anyways, let's move on to the next email. So this next email's subject is Haunted Campus and Dorm Room. Starts out like this. Salutations once again, good Sir Adam, Milady Robin, and Spooky Mom too. Salutations to you as well.
Salutations.
As always, you are more than welcome to share on the show. Thank you so much for putting that in there. We always sincerely appreciate it. During my second year of college, I moved to the main campus from the branch and also lived in a dorm while there. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted places in Ohio, so I'm not too surprised of some of my experiences while there. One of them involves one of my most frequented dining halls my first term there that gave me a strange feeling every time I walked in. Not unsettling or spooky, but a feeling of overwhelming despair and chill. That's just sort of the existential dread you face when you're in college, realizing your adult life is ahead of you.
That's how I feel right now.
So I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it, but it might have like compounded that feeling. Anyways, the email continues. This led me one day to ask a custodian I befriended at this dining hall what happened in the entrance lobby, as I only had this feeling in that area. I also need to mention here that this building had once been a hotel that the university purchased, since it will explain the layout. The custodian gave me a strange look at first and told me that one of the former students had hung herself from the rail above the steps that led to the pool.
Oh my God.
Just did it during the night and was found in the morning as students were coming into the hall for breakfast.
So as soon as she asked, this custodian was like, oh yeah, hey, this is
a lot of history
happened.
Down that road. Like, holy
Oh my
shit.
gosh.
It happened just a few years before I was a student there, as well as before the custodian had been assigned to the building herself, and that was all the information that the custodian had on the incident, sadly. The other most notable experience I had there was my dorm room. Oh God, no, you have no sanctuary here.
Yeah, oh gosh.
It's like, if I don't have a place to eat and a place to sleep, I have to get a different college. Like, this isn't going to work out for me. The email continues. My roommate had given me a heads up when I first moved into the room. We were located on the second floor of the building, and while there were some trees nearby, none of them were close enough to reach our windows, yet we would occasionally hear tapping noises on the one without the AC unit in it.
Fuck that.
Our ghostly and antisocial roommate also preferred us to not have our door open to let our friends know we were there and up for visits, as our door would slam shut with excessive force at least once every time we would be out from classes and done studying for the evening.
I wonder if it would happen the same way if they had like a door stopper, you know?
It's like, how powerful are you, ghost? That's just shitty way to challenge it. This even happened in front of our friends during visits, which usually, very promptly, led our friends to saying they needed to head out as they needed to be up early or call their parents or any other excuse to leave at the time our door slammed.
Imagine, though, if you did have a door stopper, right? And it was one of those chunky, triangular, like...
You just heard it like trying to scoot across the floor.
That, or it just whipped out, you know, and slammed the door shut. Like, how scary would that be? If
that would be ultimately
out
scary.
From under the door. Yeah,
without
oh my
a doubt.
God.
All right. Still more chilling was one of the nights I was in the room by myself. It was a rare occasion that this happened, as I usually went home for the weekends, but I had to stay this particular weekend for one of my classes. My roommate, however, did go home that weekend. I'm not into scary or horror movies, but I decided that night, as per my usual during this period of time of not being able to sleep, that I would watch some TV, and all that was airing were what I considered scary movies. I selected the one I thought would be least scary, Signs. I made it through the movie without freaking out until the end, which is when there was an obnoxiously loud knock on my room door that made me jump out of my skin, and I do mean I actually jumped, and the chair I was sitting in flipped backwards from the force of my jump. Of course, I didn't respond to the knock, being that it was 2:30 a.m. and I was just scared so bad that I could have easily peed myself or worse. and none of my friends knew I was there.
Ooh, that's creepy.
All I know is that when I did brave leaving the room to make that much needed 3 a.m. bathroom run, nobody was anywhere in sight in the hallway.
That is something I cannot stand about dorms. You have to leave your room to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, it's like I was always of the I'm just going to get a fucking apartment and commute a little bit further than live in a dorm where it's like a shared bathroom.
Some schools require that you stay on campus your first year.
Yeah, I was always like, nah, hard pass. Like, not going to happen, dog. As always, thank you for giving us something to look forward to every week with the stream and bringing our spooky community together. Annette, a.k.a. I Am Beef Trainer, who was also there last night.
No,
Jeez. Tuesday night.
Oh, man. Our internet sucks.
Cox, you just are really
Bunch of
cocks. Thank you so much for sending that IMB trainer. That's like kind of shocking and scary and also kind of relatable. I think everyone has like stories that they're told about whatever college they go to if you wind up going to a campus or something like that. Of like, oh yeah, this building's really creepy. I don't like being in this building. Like there's a legend behind this building. Even if it's not paranormal, sometimes it's like true crime. Like, have you ever heard of like this random serial killer or this disappeared person? Like that's the building they lived in.
There are a lot of things that have happened on our campus, the UNLV campus, in recent history that have been awful, like people getting abducted and stuff. So it's like, okay.
It's terrifying.
But I think the scary part about a lot of college campuses is how old they are and the history that they have, you know? And then a lot of the buildings are built where they're huge open spaces, big doors, or big ceilings, or whatever. And some of them, it gives you a creepy vibe, even if you haven't been told a scary story or a ghost story about it, because of just how they're designed. I don't know. There are quite a few different buildings that we have on campus, at the college I go to. And it's like there's no one ever in there at night. And there's one, the nurses building, to me, freaks me out because all the corridors are pretty closed in. And so you have to like walk around the building in all these halls to get to the elevator. So
like a maze.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Some buildings, even if you haven't been told a ghost story, are just inherently scary. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, I totally agree with you. And I feel like campuses always have at least one that's scarier than the rest. So I can totally relate to this. And thank you so much for sending that in. If anyone else has their terrifying college stories, hopefully like paranormal related, totally send them in. We want to hear them. There's so many legends for like every school anyone's ever been to. So like there was a haunting rumor about the high school I went to, and then we got a brand new high school, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's no longer a ghost story. And then our superintendent died in the high school, and then it became like, oh, the gym is haunted now. So it's like there's always something around the corner waiting to give you a new spooky story. So we want to hear them. So before we move into our next story, we're going to take a quick commercial break, which is going to start with me telling you about Manscaped, which is a wonderful company. You can go to manscaped.com, check out all their products. They have a bunch of stuff. Most of it is for male hygiene, but it can be used for pretty much anyone, especially the Lawnmower 3.0, which is a hair trimmer, which is for sensitive skin. It works wonderfully, as was demonstrated by our own Robin Grace on one of our live streams about 9 days ago when she took a huge hack out of my beard on the live show, which I could barely feel, but it definitely meant I had no hair there anymore, and I had to go ahead and shave after the show. It works very well. They have stuff like t-shirts. They have stuff like underwear, which are just heaven. And if you are interested, go to manscaped.com, find something you like, and if you use code SCARYISH, all caps, SCARYISH, at checkout, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping.
The holidays are coming up soon, so it's a pretty good opportunity for you folks to get something for your loved one. And it doesn't have to be for any man in your life. I know I use it. I've used it. Someone had brought up the fact that you can use it on a cat. If you have a cat with long hair that gets matted really easily, it actually works pretty well on that, which I thought was a great tip. But yeah, it's the code only goes through to the end of the month, so get it in while you can.
Absolutely. That's my phrase for life. Get it in while you can. That said,
God damn it.
I will say one thing that was hilarious about this entire thing. After I had a huge hack taken out of my beard, one of the viewers on the live show was like, take the batteries out, Adam. I can't, because it has a built-in lithium ion that's rechargeable and lasts forever. So I was just like, it's impossible. Like, this thing will be hacking up my face for as long as Robin wants. So go ahead, go to manscaped.com and check out what they have to offer. So yeah, that's it for our plug. So you can go ahead and listen to the rest of the ads now, starting probably like meow.
Welcome back from those commercial breaks. I'm here to read the next story, and it begins. What's going on, Scarish fam?
What up?
What up?
That includes all you. Everyone say what up? What up?
Cody Bolt here. I say that because everyone that knows me calls me by my first and last name. I've been wanting to send in some stories that happened to me, but haven't yet because I feel that the way I tell it makes me seem like a douche. Okay. But I believe that the community you guys built will be understanding even to the dumb redneck from Alabama. Oh my god, what the fuck? Don't talk shit about yourself. Alright. First of all, the part that makes me feel douchey. I'll start by saying that I am a lifelong martial artist that, along with growing up in bad schools, also growing up around firearms and having proper training, there was no situation I felt as though I wasn't prepared for. At the point where this all began, I had already had to disarm guns and knives from people, mostly thanks to bad friends, all the while being calm. I think a group of friends always needs to have that one person who's like, I'm not taking your bullshit.
I don't think any group of friends should have people that you have to disarm knives and guns from.
No, but like, there always has to be that one calm person who's like, chill the fuck out.
I've only ever had to disarm someone once, and it was a knife. And I was just like, this person will never be around me ever again.
I've never been in that situation. I just mean like when some people start getting fussy or like upset and start yelling because they're drunk, and then there's that one friend who's like, sit the fuck down. You know what I mean?
You need a calming presence in every group for sure.
All right, so there were no animals I was afraid of, at least not in Alabama where I live, seeing as we have no grizzlies or anything like that. At this point, when someone asked me what you're afraid of, I promptly said nothing. So when I was about 17 or 18, me and a group of friends decided we wanted to start ghost hunting. So we got together, bought some equipment, and searched some old abandoned houses that friends of friends' parents had owned, getting no evidence. Then we went to a Civil War cemetery in Wadley, Alabama. It's one of those. There we got plenty. After a series of questions making the EMP meters light up, we determined that the spirit or spirits wanted us to clean up the graves. That's kind of cool that the spirits are like, yo. I mean, help us out here.
It's a really specific thing to take from that, too.
Like, pick up my stuff. Okay, especially the graves that were only marked with small white crosses. That's really sad. We had several people with different life views and religions with us. Me, an atheist, 2 Baptists, a non-declared Christian, and a Jehovah's Witness. None of us knew what to make of this. But a week later, we went back, and the local middle school had cleaned up the entire site as part of a history project. We got nothing that night, and I like to think that the spirits are at rest now. That's really nice.
What happens if they become unkempt again? Will the spirits be like, what the fuck happened?
Or are they just like, school kids?
They just chilled out now? It's hard to tell. I guess we'll have to check back in.
I think maybe they'll just have to wake up every, few years or
27 years to take the children from a small town in Maine. That's Pennywise the Clown, in case you were wondering.
I know my coworker was telling me about back where he's from, that different societies like Boy Scouts and stuff like that will go through and clean up these cemeteries.
Perform community service and stuff like that.
These places that don't necessarily have a caretaker, they go and they clean it up and kind of fix it up and I don't know, respect the people that are buried there.
Right.
Now, this lit a fire under me. I wanted to figure out as much as I could about this kind of stuff. I wanted to see how far I could take it. I wanted a Ouija board. Talking to a lady I worked with, she said I could have one she's had since high school. I don't know how I feel about that because you don't know what she's done with it already.
You don't know what's passed through that Ouija board.
I tried to buy it from her, but she insisted she just wanted it gone. Double red flag.
Yeah.
When I asked why, she told me that her and some friends played with it in high school, and it told them the day her friend would die, and it would be the radio that killed her. And on that day, she was hit by a train because the radio was up too loud and she couldn't hear it coming. She brought the board into work the next day.
Wow. I'd be like, hard pass, dude.
No thanks.
I'll get one new from Target, thanks.
No, I'm good. I'm like, I don't need to buy a new one.
If I was committed to getting
I'm
one,
good.
I probably wouldn't take a used one that had that happen with it, but
Jeez,
that's just me.
That is intense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now that night, I joked with my parents about getting it, and they tell me not to bring it into the house. At this point, I'm floating between staying with them and living with one of my friends, the Jehovah's Witness from the group. When I get it, I hide it in my bedroom at my parents' because my buddy didn't want it at his house either. The next night, I get off work and my dad calls me and says, quote, I don't know where it's at, but there have been pictures falling off the wall and lights going out all evening. Come get this thing, end quote. Fuck that! That's terrifying. At this point, I'm thinking he found it and just wants it gone. I don't know, man. My parents would not be that calm about it. Like, hey, weird stuff's been happening. Can you just come and get this thing?
My dad would definitely throw the board. My dad would probably take the board out of the house,
set it
burn
on fire.
it,
Oh, yeah.
and then tell me I wasn't allowed back home for a while.
Yeah.
He'd probably make me go to church, too. And my dad was not a churchgoer.
You're saying he would take you to church?
No, because that means have sex. So, not at all.
I did not know that. Okay.
Listen to the song, for Christ's sake.
I only know that line.
Listen to the lyrics.
What else? What is another line from that song?
I'm pretty sure it's like, drop your pants, take me to
No,
church.
it's not.
No, it's not. But there's subtle undertones and subtext to it.
Okay. I don't know. Anyway, I go to their house and pick it up, stick it in the back seat of my truck, and head back to town. It is now about 10 at night, and I'm driving from 5 Points, Alabama to Roanoke, Alabama, up the highway 431. I know some of your listeners are from close to the area. It's a 30-minute drive down a dark, winding road. Halfway there, I look up in the rearview mirror and see the silhouette of a person in a large top hat. What the F? I just finished watching Annabelle Comes Home, and there's that scene in it where Lorraine Warren is in the car by herself because their car breaks down. They have Annabelle in the backseat, and she's in the car by herself because Ed's fixing the car somewhere outside, and she looks in her rearview mirror, and there's this like dark silhouette of like a girl sitting there. And it's just, this is what that reminds me of, and that scene freaks me out.
I still haven't seen it. You watched it. You watched it without me because you don't love me.
Whatever. You've seen it.
I have not seen it at all.
What? How have you not seen it?
Because you watched it without me.
Oh my god, whatever. Okay. I pulled my F-250 to the side of the road, somehow not flipping it, and jump out, grab my pistol from the door panel, and throw the rear door open to drag this weird Abe Lincoln-looking motherfucker out of the truck. Fuck. Sorry, it's funny. It was empty. I immediately run to the other side, wondering if this person had time to jump out and run before I got out. I grab a flashlight out of my glove compartment and look around. I see nothing. When I get back to my truck, I realize with the driving that I did, my duffel bag, laptop, manga, and boxing gloves had been thrown around the truck. Nice collection. But the board was in the same spot with the planchette sitting right on top. So even though he was driving like crazy, trying to pull over to the side of the road, everything had been tossed except for the Ouija board.
That seems odd, yeah.
At this point, I think maybe my blood sugar is high since I'm diabetic, and I've heard that'll make you see things. But it was perfect. I just think weird, and that Honest Abe has escaped. Who knows? I've never had to deal with low blood sugar or anything like that. And I've heard people get lightheaded or nauseous or things like that. So I don't know, maybe it could make you see things. Who knows? I get to the house we're staying in, which for context is a large house someone was trying to sell and was letting us live there until it sold so that the insurance was cheaper. They just had an estate sale, so the only things in the house are the kitchen table, a bed, the recliner I slept in, and a mantle that wasn't attached to the wall. I leave the board in my truck at this time, go inside, and start playing WoW. Got priorities. It's cool. After 30 minutes or so, I hear walking in the other room. Knowing I'm the only one who should be there, I get up to check. I get to the living room, and then I hear it in the kitchen on the other side of the wall. So I go back. This continues back and forth a few times till I'm in the living room again, and I hear it in the room with me, walking around me. Then I hear a faint whisper that I could not make out. Then I see the mantle lean away from the wall and slam back into the wall. So this mantle's already pulled away a little bit. It's like leaned forward and then shoved.
Right.
That's terrifying. My hands instinctively come up The mantle starts repeatedly slamming into the wall as I hear loud footsteps running around me. Then the rug I'm standing on gets pulled out from under me. I ungracefully manage to stumble my way to keep me from falling and regain my footing. I realize something. I am helpless for the first time that I can remember. I'm being attacked and I don't know what to do. I can't even imagine. It's like something out of a horror movie. I'm in a situation I can't deal with and I'm panicking. There are no punches, kicks, takedowns, no amount of gun or knife training that can help me. I am helpless. A feeling that I was unfamiliar with and I was scared. I tried to run to the front door and couldn't get it open. This is just all my nightmares all in one. I sprint to the back and bolt out and don't stop until I get to the McDonald's me and my roommate worked at just a few minutes away. I get there as they're closing up and my friend and his sister are getting ready to walk to the house. I'm crying and gasping for air. I try explaining what happened, but my words were jumbled and confusing. I don't know how I would have been able to be like, I gotta run to this McDonald's. I need to talk to my friends. No, for me, I would have just curled up in a ball and started crying, man.
I'd have been like, ghosts. Ghosts.
Ghosts.
That's all I would have said
Patrick
over and over.
Swayze.
No.
All right. No, yeah, I would have been crying so hard, just rolled up in a ball. That's when I played Silent Hill 4 and you get back to the apartment and the windows start slamming and there's just the radio's on really loud and it's just a whole bunch of terrifying things happening all at once. I just turned off my PlayStation because I couldn't handle it.
Wow.
I can't deal with that.
Yet you're always trying to get us to play Silent Hill.
I love Silent Hill. They're good games. It's just terrifying.
You just can't handle it. You want to watch someone else play them.
Once I finally get my thoughts together, they tell me that they were taught that there's no such thing as spirits and it is all demons. They make us believe that they are spirits because they think it's funny and to open a Bible in the room I sleep in to Psalms 83:18. I will never forget that scripture. We get back to the house and burn the Ouija board and throw the ashes in the dumpster at work. Fuck that place.
That's funny.
Poor McDonald's.
If you're going to curse a place with like haunted ashes, just make it be your place of work.
I didn't sleep for days after that. That night changed me forever. I look at the world in a completely different light now, open-minded and peaceful. Anyway, I love the podcast. I started listening when the Curse of the Iceman episode came out. Wow, that's a long time ago. That's crazy. And you guys make my Tuesdays. Love you guys and keep on creeping on. Thank you so much, Cody Bolt, for sending that in. I definitely wouldn't have been able to handle that as well as you did, I guess, because I wouldn't have been able to run out of there.
I think it's definitely a really good example of how if you're trained for a long time, everyone has a fight or flight response. And if you've been training so hard in your fight response, and then for the first time in your life, you realize this is not an appropriate reaction to the situation happening now. It's like, I have no other alternative but flight, how much it can just jar you as a person. And all you can do is just flee for your life, especially when you're that level of scared. So
yeah. And I know I've told the podcast about it before, that when the stupid battery in the fire alarm exploded that one time and it was just this loud shrieking, oh my sweet jeez. I got up so fast because I was so scared. And imagine if it was like an actual ghost. Imagine if it was an actual ghost. I don't even know what I would have done. Because at least when I ran out of this room, your mom was there like, what the hell just happened?
That's so funny.
You know? But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sending it in. We appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to move into the last email of the show. And this one's subject is, this is weird. And it starts out like this. Okay. So I've sent in before, and I just recently had a thing happen. I was sleeping in my dorm. Lots of shit about dorms in this one. And I work at a dairy, for reference. In my dream, I was working in the dairy, and mind you, I listened to your podcast the evening before about a creature that is creepy as fuck.
O-M, okay.
Sorry about that. O-M? No G on that one? Not going to toss the G out? It continues. Okay. So all I remember at this point is that I was pulling into my work and there were trees to the right with an old condemned house and to the right cornfields. Onward, I pull my car further in and suddenly this monstrous creature that looks half humanoid with the head of a wolf. In parentheses, it says, my manager gives me terrible panic attacks and issues, and there is a point to this. Okay, that's a weird offset. Well, I see this animal and it starts coming towards me and I begin having a panic attack in my sleep. The creature has the eyes of my manager. My throat feels clenched and I can't manage to wake up. I just keep staring into the eyes of this animal. Then the animal makes me get out of my car. I then get crushed and I wake up gasping for breath and look at the time. The time was 3:30 a.m. and I had to work at 5 a.m. at the dairy. So I get up and get some water to calm myself. I don't fall asleep and wait till 4 to start getting ready. I just drive out there and I felt a weird presence when I was there all morning.
There to watch you.
The next thing I know, my manager comes out and starts screaming at me for no reason, which I just got there and I did not know what to do. I continue my job and she then leaves me alone. But every time I see her, now I feel like there is a negative and weird presence. Well, I just needed to tell this because I am very scared every time I see her and I work the morning shift. If you want to share, feel free. I just do not know. I think this is like the mixture of a nightmare along with anxiety and just having a real horrible person as your boss, like all wrapped up into one.
Sometimes when you have that one person at work who's just so awful to you that you're just, it creeps into your nightmares.
Into your subconscious where they're just straight up like, they're the evil that lurks within your dreams.
And then you go to work and you're like, I have to tiptoe around this person, you know? And I think that's part of the feeling is that you don't want them to yell at you again. So you're just like, God, this is weird.
It's such a horrible environment to have to work with someone like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you are like this to your employees, you're a horrible person. Like, I don't care what fucking bullshit excuse you give, like, I'm just a tough customer. I'm tough but fair. In most cases, people that say I'm tough but fair, what they're really saying is I'm tough and unfair, because that's never been true from anyone I've ever heard say it in real life. People can just be assholes sometimes and they let power go to their head and they just decide, I'm going to treat that other person like shit for no reason. So It sucks that you have someone like that in your life, but hopefully at some point you can, erase that demon from your dreams. I mean, like, move on to another job, not murder them. So please don't do that. Or maybe they get fired or you wind up being their boss. That's also pretty cool when that happens. So, but yeah, I totally understand this. I think we might get a slew of like, my boss is my demon emails in like 6 weeks or so when we were doing the show. So we'll just keep an eye out for those. But thank you so much for sending that in. I'd also like to thank everyone who sent in their stories for this episode. We sincerely appreciate that. If you have a story that you would like to share with us, please do email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. You can also hit us up on any of our social medias. We have a Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can message us there. You can tweet at us at scarishpod or hit us up on Instagram at scarishpodcast. We look forward to hearing from you on any of those, whichever one makes you feel the most comfortable. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scaryishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers do start at $1 and you get ad-free episodes. So if you want to listen to our episodes and just hear our sweet, sweet voices, you can go over there and check that out. If you just want to do one-time donations, you can also do that at ko-fi.com/Scarish podcast. All your donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup and kind of keep us going, keep us motivated, give us more time to record these episodes for you.
Indeed. So one more time, thank you to everyone who sent in your stories. Thank you to all our patrons. Thank you to all our wonderful listeners. Thank you to all our viewers who were not able to watch the live show. And that's everything we have. So go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on and we'll talk to you guys later.